Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever met someone who's smart, successful, but somehow always ruins relationships, arguments, or teamwork? Or worse, what if that person is someone you know really well? Stick with me because today we're breaking down 6 signs of low emotional intelligence. And sign number 3 might hit a little too close to home. Emotional intelligence, also known as EQ, isn't about being soft or emotional. It was about understanding emotions, yours and other people's ways, and responding in a way that builds trust instead of breaking it. Think of it like a social superpower. High EQ helps you navigate complicated situations, lead teams effectively, and build deep, meaningful connections. Low emotional intelligence, on the other hand, doesn't mean someone is a bad person, but it does quietly damage careers, friendships, and relationships, often without the person even realizing why things keep going wrong. It's like trying to drive a car with a foggy windshield. You might be moving, but you're missing all the important signals around you. So, let's clear the fog and get into it. Sign number 1. They get defensive over everything. People with low emotional intelligence take any form of feedback as a personal attack. Even simple, constructive comments like, "Hey, maybe try approaching it this way," are met with excuses, anger, or cutting sarcasm. Their immediate reaction isn't to listen, it's to defend. Instead of seeing an opportunity to learn, they gear up for an argument. An emotionally intelligent person can pause, even for a split second, and ask themselves, is there something useful here? They can separate the message from the delivery. But a person with low EQ hears only one thing: I'm being attacked. Their ego flares up, their walls go up, and any chance for productive conversation is immediately lost. It's exhausting for everyone involved, because you start to feel like you have to walk on eggshells just to have a simple conversation. Sign number 2, they struggle to read the room. You know that person who cracks an inappropriate joke at the wrong time? Or the one who keeps talking enthusiastically when everyone else in the group is clearly uncomfortable, looking at their phones, or just mentally checked out? That's not necessarily confidence, it's emotional blindness. Low emotional intelligence makes it incredibly hard to notice non-verbal cues. They miss the subtle shifts in body language, tone of voice, or the overall energy of a space. They don't register the obvious signals like crossed arms, forced smiles, awkward silence, or the way everyone avoids eye contact. And because they don't notice these cues, they just keep pushing, digging themselves into a deeper social hole without ever realizing it. They might leave a gathering thinking they were the life of the party, while everyone else is left feeling drained and awkward. It's a fundamental disconnect between their perception and reality. Now for sign number 3, and this one is huge. They blame others for their own emotions. Low EQ sounds like this: you made me angry. You ruined my mood. If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't feel this way. This is a classic move to shift responsibility. Emotionally intelligent people understand a fundamental truth. Your feelings are your internal responses, not external weapons someone else is using against you. Others' actions can trigger your emotions, but you are ultimately in control of how you respond to those feelings. Blaming others for how you feel puts you in a permanent victim state. It means you never have to take responsibility for your own emotional regulation, and if you're never responsible, personal growth becomes completely impossible. You're essentially giving away all your power, waiting for the world to change so you can feel better, which is a game you will never, ever win. This leads directly into sign number 4. They lack empathy. Now, low emotional intelligence doesn't always mean a total absence of empathy. Sometimes it just means highly selective empathy. They feel deeply when they are the one who is hurting, but they can go completely cold when others are struggling. You'll see this when you try to share a problem with them. They might interrupt you, impatiently waiting for their turn to speak. They minimize your pain with phrases like, "Oh, everyone goes through that," or the classic, "just get over it." To them, other people's emotions are often seen as an inconvenience, a messy distraction, unless, of course, they're their own emotions. In that case, they expect the world to stop and pay attention. True empathy is the ability to step into someone else's shoes and understand their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Low EQ individuals struggle to make that leap. Sign number 5. They can't handle conflict without escalating it. Disagreements are a normal, healthy part of any relationship. whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a coworker. But for someone with low EQ, a simple disagreement often turns into an all-out war. They don't have the tools to navigate tension calmly, so they raise their voice. They interrupt constantly. They resort to personal attacks or bring up old unrelated issues from the past to use as ammunition. Their goal shifts from solving the problem at hand to simply winning the argument. Emotionally intelligent people seek resolution. They want to find common ground and move forward. Low EQ people, on the other hand, seek dominance. They need to prove they are right, even if it means destroying the relationship in the process. They see conflict as a battlefield, not a bridge to better understanding. And finally, sign number 6, which might be the quietest, but also the most dangerous sign of all. They rarely, if ever, self-reflect. Low emotional intelligence thrives by avoiding self-reflection. After a conflict or a difficult interaction, they never seriously ask themselves questions like, was I wrong in how I handled that? How did my words or actions make the other person feel? What could I do better next time? Instead, they replay the situation over and over in their head, but always from a script where they are the hero or the victim, and everyone else is the villain. There's no room for personal accountability, but real growth requires honest reflection. Without it, you are doomed to repeat the same mistakes, encounter the same problems, and damage the same relationships time and time again. Your patterns become your prison. But here's the good news. Emotional intelligence isn't a fixed trait you're born with. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and developed over time. The simple fact that you've watched this far and are thinking about these signs means you've already taken the most important step forward: awareness. So I want you to ask yourself, honestly, which one of these signs do I need to work on? Maybe you get a little defensive with feedback. Maybe you realize you blame others for your bad moods. Recognizing it is not a sign of failure. It's the beginning of growth. Because having a high EQ doesn't make you perfect. It just makes you aware. And awareness changes absolutely everything. If this video made you think, do me a favor and share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. And make sure to follow for more content that actually helps you grow, not just feel good for a moment. Thanks for watching.